Yo, crypto nation and mining family. Crypto nation and mining family. What's going on? Of course, like always, it's not financial advice. Yo, what's going on, guys? How'd you like that new intro going on? If you guys liked it, definitely, guys, definitely smash that Lizzie like button. That's something that my wife created for me. Dude, I like it. I dig it. Kind of my flavor. Yo. So, today, messing with my Simple Miner rig while I was at work and all that good stuff. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, started having issues with the temperature. So I started playing with settings, trying to get them under control, and then Simple Miner decided to have a heart attack on me, and would not load a overclock setting. So it just sailed the power to the cards. Now, I was watching it, so it's not like, oh my god, the temperature spiked. As soon as I saw it hit 70°C, I shut the rig down. So, no harm, no foul. I mean, the temperatures were all under control. It was just throwing the kitchen sink at it. I mean, the hash power was amazing. If I could sit there and put it in the, like, outer space, and where, you know, the outer space cold could just keep these things running at max efficiency, it might be stable. No, just kidding. But so while I was having an issue with it, I was like, you know what? I have not upgraded my Simple Miner USB in a while. So instead of jumping to conclusions or anything like that, I know there's an update out for Simple Miner. So if any of you are running Simple Miner and you haven't updated your Simple Miner in the last few months, I do recommend pulling out your Simple Miner USB and reflashing it on there and reconfiguring it with the same email address as before. So if anybody has any issues if you're using Simple Miner for the first time, when you download Simple Miner onto your USB, I use what program is that I utilize? Dang it. Win32 Disk Imager is what I use to flash this with Simple Miner. For some reason, it doesn't like to do it with, or Rufus doesn't like to do Simple Miner, so I had to do it a different way. So boom, I have it on here, and when you finally get done downloading it, you're going to have to manually go back into the thumb drive, and there's looks like two files on there, and one of them says config. Open it up, and it's got, like, right at the very bottom of all the text, it's got like a little email thing. Erase what's there and input yours. Save, which you go into the file in the upper left hand corner, hit save, you're good to go. You can unplug this and put it into your rig for the first time, or put it back into your rig if you're an existing Simple Miner user. Yo! So it's going to update the drivers on here, so there is a driver update. That's basically step one that I was doing. And then step two, I know that I've had a card that's been trying to run hot. It's okay. It's okay. It's been running, flawlessly. I haven't had it like really spike, but since it hit like 90 degrees out today, yeah, it was running a little warm, and that's what got me concerned. So while I've got the rig off, because I had to update this, no problem. I might as well, bam, sit there and clean this and re-thermal paste it and then rehang it. Yo. So what I have here is an EVGA 1070 Superclock Edition. This thing has a single 8-pin on here, so it doesn't need a whole bunch of cable management going to it. What's nice about this is that it's pretty power efficient. The coolers for EVGA are pretty nice. I haven't really, until just recently, had an issue, but just getting a little bit warm. But it's a hot day out, so to be expected, right guys? So what I'm going to be doing today is just cleaning it, like I said, rethermal pasting it. And if you guys ever really notice this, like the oiling, like all over, a lot of it, I've never really understood what it is. If anybody out there knows what the oiliness is on here, what causes it, is there any kind of preventative maintenance that you can do? I mean, all I really do is I try to keep it from getting dirt collecting on it. I figure if it's got like an oily residue on it and it's picking up dirt, that dirt might cause contacts to touch each other. So, I mean, but I haven't had an issue yet, so it's hard to say what it's actually from. I've never understood it, actually. Not in the slightest bit. And they all seem to do it in like just different spots. I don't know if this is what happens when like plastics, whatever the plastic material that they're using to hold the circuitry in place does. So, either way, let's get cracking on. Yo! So, there's the 4 screws right here that would normally hold the cooler onto the CPU. And then I believe there's a bunch of perimeter screws on here that hold the whole cooler and everything and just keeps it all nice and sandwiched down. If you guys go ahead and blow these out, make sure you hold on to the fans. Don't let whatever you're using to blow the dirt out of there to get to spool up the fans, because that will be bad. So let's go ahead and pull this bad boy apart real quick. And bam. So you guys can see what I'm doing here. Now, best practices would be to, kind of line up where you're pulling out the screws out of everything. Now, I've never taken apart one of the EVGAs like this before, so I believe I'm going to have to... Oh, look at that. It actually just cracked apart. Alright. Alright, here we go. So I was thinking I was going to have to pull apart all of them, but I guess not. Awesome, look at that. So there is a couple of plugs here that I'm going to have to get my small little fingers up, my big fat fingers into here and try to wiggle this stuff apart. Alright, let me get a little light onto the subject here. Is there a little release mechanism? Don't be doing all that weird stuff now. Thinking that, oh, there we go. Okay, so, oh, I just blinded myself. Blinded by the lights. Oh, oh God. Okay, so what I had to do is I had to there's like a little bit of like a locking tab on here. I had to kind of flick it with my nail. And that's how I had to do that, guys. So now from here, I think I should be able to roll that back. There we go. Oop. Screw, come back. I'll pull you out of the side here, so I got some good room here. So, Dang. Let's go ahead and get this other plug out of here. There we go. Bam. So, bam, bada bam. And you can see, let me go back to here. You can see all the dirt that's collected up in here. Man, that's no good. No bueno. Alright. And then you can kind of see the little dust bunnies that are in the cooler. It's like, damn. So, alright, I almost want to crack this cooler off too, because this panel plate here, holy cow, this is actually pretty bad. I'm kind of glad I'm taking this apart, guys. So if you can see in here, I don't think you're going to be able to, but it's nasty. It's real nasty. I want to take that all apart and really clean this now. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. So first things first, I'm going to clean the cooler real quick. Let's get into that. Bam. So again, I always got these cardboard business cards. You get them from a whole bunch of places. They are a perfect tool to clean GPUs with. So literally, you just use it as like a scraper, guys. So watch. See how quick that was, dude? And that's what came off. Bam. Bam. Nice and clean already. And that's like step one. Put that over there. All right. That's nasty. Put that back. I'm gonna take my little microfiber cloth and clean it up a little bit nicer. So bam. And it gets it real shiny. Alright. Bam. Just like that. So now you can see the CPU in here is nice and shiny. That's clean. And if you remember, you could almost see the outline originally. That's gone. So the next step that I'm going to do on the cooler side is I'm going to blow out the rest of the dust bunnies in here. So I've got a little shop vac, well, not a shop vac, a little canister vac for that, and I'm going to turn on. And then remember to hold on to the fans. Don't let them spool up, guys. It will grind your fans to a halt. So give me 1 second. And just like that, no more dust bunnies. Bam! Yeah! So this will be nice and clean. This side is pretty much ready to go back together. Now, we put this into a safe little section down over here. So I'm going to go ahead and carefully remove the back plate on this, which is going to be all the remaining screws on the back of this, of course. And we are going, of course, I like to put them in order of how I pull them out. And try to not use a lot of stuff that's like magnetic by this. just sensitive equipment, magnets, has a tendency to wipe stuff clean. Alright, bam. So it looks like we've got 6 on the back side here. And then a bunch on this in the midsection here. They were making sure that this thing was well supported, that's for sure. And that's pretty much what that, like the little plate that I'm going to take off here is really what its job is doing. It's just giving the card support so that while it's living life hanging out, that it's not warping out as it warms up and cools down. Trying to make sure that the CPU stays at full coverage at all times. Take those ones off too. No. Okay, so that's for the front. I have to take off this one front corner one. So bam. So all this is just a piece of metal. Nothing special to it, but it does show that this is pretty nasty. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give it a good wipe down, guys. Get all of this, because like if I can get the dirt out of here, it's also going to mean that it's going to have better cooling, because it's not trying to breathe through a bunch of dust and dirt and stuff. And again, it's like there's that mysterious oil that I never understood what it really is, what it's from. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to my lint-free, my microfiber here. I'm just kind of lifting up where I see dirt sitting. Alright, so okay, so everything looks nice and clean on this side. And I'll go ahead and I'll wipe this thing down just a little bit. Clean on this side. Now it's clean. I'm just sitting here wiping up the back plate that's on here, getting all the little nastiness that's on here off, like I was saying. Alright. Alright, so bam. Now I can go ahead and put this bad boy back together. And slide that right back in place. Thankfully it only goes in pretty much in one direction. Now this doesn't have locating tabs on there, so definitely start a few of them before you start trying to sail them home. I would say start them all and then tighten them, but to each their own. And put the bazillion screws back together. Now you should never have parts left over, no PLOs. If you got PLO, you did not put something back together the same way it came apart. Bam. And one more, and then I can tighten them all down. This is going to be the easy part now. No, I like to tighten them from the middle going outward. That's just me. And again, you don't have to go like super tight on there, and you don't have to be like a superhuman strength, and then bam, that's back together, looking nice, guys. Yo, look at that. It looks so pretty. It's clean. Look at that. Now, just to go for that little extra cleanliness, if there's any kind of like residue that I can lift out of the chipset itself, I will attempt to. Bam. Just like that. And get the cooler, do the same thing to the cooler, just to kind of get if there's any kind of residue that I can lift up, I certainly shall try to. Alright, so now comes the fun part, guys. We get to put some of my favorite MK4, guys. Yo. It's non-conductive, and it's got pretty high temperature limit. The only one that's got higher is, what is it, the Grizzly compound. I think it's a little bit higher than this, but dude, this certainly does a trick too. And whenever I run out of this, I'm going to check out the Grizzly compound next, so, yo. Oh, figures. Ugh. These little itty bitty caps, dude. There we go. Bam. Now, you can't put too much of this on, really. But you can't put too much on. So follow me with this one. So you can't put too much on to the point of you're gonna do harm. But you can't put too much on where you are wasting. So you don't have to put like these mega thick dots or anything. I mean, everybody's got their own way of doing it. The way that I do is I draw a little thin X on there. It's not thick lines on the CPU, and it's really thin. So check it out. Bam. real thin. And I like to do an X. Some people do dot method, but check it out. Bam. It's really not that thick. Let's see if I can see how thin it is. And it's just basically as thin as that applicator tube will let me lay it out. If I could go thinner, I might. But and then this is always the fun part, guys, is plugging all the stuff back together on here. If any of you guys know what I'm talking about, it's never the first plug. It's always that second plug, because you're trying to not let the two like connect quite yet, because you're trying to plug stuff in. And let me get some light on the subject. Bam. Snaps in too. Look at that. And you might be going, well, why do you got this light here anyway? So basically what I'm using the light for is to actually help me see the screw holes as I put these two together. And why won't you two? Alright, bam. So, just like that, after you blind yourself with the light for a few seconds, and bam. Tighten them down. They don't have to be super mega tight. So bam, just like that, guys. And I like to call that a refurbished fan, guys. Fan assembly is nice and clean. The GPU's nice and refurbished. So I mean, the only other thing I can do is just pretty much get some tools so that I can actually crack this the top plate off so that I can get at the back side of the fans. But this is pretty much a refurbished GPU assembly, besides, you know, really just kind of getting down and dirty on the cleaning aspect of it. So guys, I hope that you guys found this very informative, helpful in any way, shape, or form. And if you have any other further questions, certainly drop some comments in down below, guys. Any kind of questions, drop them down below. And while you're down there, definitely smash that like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and definitely hit the like button if you like that intro from my wife. That was awesome that she did that for me. She's picking up a new little skill of being able to do that, which is awesome. And now I get to put everything back together in my mind. Woo! So I'll catch you all on the next one. Peace.